here's a build to try, the free build. Previously I made a build called the good build that was designed to carry you and your team to victory using very meta weapons and perks. However, that build required the use of a nice bit of DLC. I know there are plenty of players out there who, for one reason or another, don't own any DLC, so I think it's only fair that I make a variant on the good build that doesn't require the use of any DLC. This was actually much harder to do than I expected. However, I believe this build will serve any player looking to beat any heist, on most difficulties that is, quite well. Let's check it out. In Mastermind at the medic tree, I get basic combat medic and then ace quick fix, combat doctor, and inspire. Just like before, inspire is a very powerful skill that any team-oriented build must have. Moving over to enforcer under tank, I've aced resilience, transporter, shock and awe, and Iron Man. The usual armor stuff, and aced shock and awe will allow me to deal with shields easily considering I can't have a grenade launcher in this build. After that, I drop by ammo specialist and get basic scavenger, and then ace bullet storm, extra lead, and fully loaded. While this build won't be getting jack of all trades, I still want both deployables aced so I can bring what the team needs. And besides, fully loaded ace means I can indefinitely refresh my throwables, which will be quite useful. In technician under oppressor, I get basic steady grip, fire control, and surefire. Those extra 15 bullets are absolutely crucial when considering what weapons I'll bring in this build. In Ghost under Artful Dodger, I of course get basic duck and cover and parkour. Also in Ghost in Silent Killer, I get basic second wind and the professional and aced specialized killing. I won't be needing the extra accuracy from aced professional, I just wanted the 30% damage bonus. Finally, in Fugitive under Revenant, I spend the minimum amount of points to get aced Swan Song. This skill has pretty much become a staple of any good build, hasn't it? 9 seconds of infinite ammo and the chance to get into cover every time you die sounds good to me. For perks, I'll be using Armorer. I did a lot of back and forth considering if this build should use Muscle for the HP regen or Armorer for the big defense boost. In the end, especially considering using silenced weapons negates the effect of Muscles disturbing the peace, I decided Armorer was for the best. Moving on to weapons, for my primary, I'll be using the M308. This is a very powerful weapon with or without DLC, and I've modded it as such. The bigger the better suppressor, a stability boost, the LED combo, any sight of choice, the Jaeger body, and a scope mount. Technically, since the accuracy is already maxed out, the scope mount is optional, but I think it makes the sights on this weapon far better. For my secondary, I'm using the Krinkov, modded like this. The bigger the better suppressor, an accuracy boost, the Moscow special rail, the LED combo, any sight of choice, and the wooden sniper stock. Infuriatingly enough, most of the good mods for the Krinkov are locked behind DLC. Still, the damage is pretty high, and thanks to fully loaded aced, the ammo efficiency is quite serviceable. For melee, I'm bringing the electric brass knuckles to stun enemies. And finally for throwables, I'm using the HEF grenade. So how does this build work? Well, unlike the variant of this build that uses DLC, you're going to have to be quite cautious. Without Kingpin to save you from dying out in the open, you'll need to stick to cover most of the time. The Krinkov works fine in full auto to deal with weaker enemies, just be cautious around tasers. Once you notice more special enemies in the area, swap to the M308 and start popping heads in single fire mode. The only times I'd recommend swapping to full auto for the M308 is to kill dozers up close or in Swan Song. If shields are giving you trouble, you can simply shoot them a few times to stagger them and get a clean shot. Don't be afraid to throw the occasional grenade too, as with fully loaded aced you can pick them back up from ammo boxes, although it'll usually take quite a few. Captain Winters can be a little bit of a challenge, hopefully your grenade should be enough to deal with him. If you're low on health, unfortunately this build doesn't have any health regen, so you'll be looking to find a first aid kit. Speaking of, when a heist is starting, be sure to check what deployables your team has, and bring either doctor bags or ammo bags respectively. This build will work on all difficulties except one down. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to spare the points for ace 9 lives, and besides, this build's skills are already stretched pretty thin. In the future, I'll be making builds designed specifically for one down, and just like I did with the good build, there'll be a version with and one without DLC. Regardless, this build can carry you and your team to victory even without DLC. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.